Long ago, in the ancient land of Umuaka, there lived a mighty king named Oba Udozie. His palace was tall and grand, his crown glittered with beads and gold, his stool carved from the great Irako tree. To the eye, he looked like a man of honor and greatness. But those who lived under him knew a darker truth. Oba Udozie was not feared because of his wisdom. He was not respected for his fairness. He was feared because of his cruelty. In every corner of his kingdom, people whispered his name in fear. At the marketplace, women lowered their voices when they spoke about him. At the riverside, men shook their heads but said nothing. Even in the huts at night, parents hushed their children when his name was mentioned. For this king had a terrible habit. He took the wives of his people and made them his own. No man, no matter how strong, no matter how faithful, could protect his wife if the king set his eyes upon her. Mothers warned their daughters, "Do not dress too beautifully. Do not laugh too loudly. Do not let your footsteps echo near the palace." Husbands lived in silent terror. Many would sit outside their huts at night, staring into the darkness, their hearts restless. Some would hold their wives' hands tightly, as if their grip could protect them from the king's greedy eyes. And so, songs of sorrow filled the land. In the evenings, instead of laughter and dance, the sound of weeping was heard. Instead of joy, despair settled upon the people of Umuaka. The land that should have been full of celebration became a place of mourning. Yet no one dared to challenge the king. His guards were fierce, men of war whose spears flashed in the sun. His word was law, and whoever dared disobeyed him was taken to the palace prison and never seen again. But the earth never sleeps. My fathers used to say, "What a man plants, he will one day harvest. If you plant thorns, you cannot expect to reap yams." And so, the harvest of Oba Udozie's wickedness was drawing near. One day, on the day of a young couple's wedding, laughter filled the air, drums beat, and dancers leaped in joy. But suddenly, the king's guards arrived. They seized the bride, dragging her to the palace, while the groom wept in despair. Villagers looked on in horror, their joy turning to sorrow. Not only brides, but also the wives of humble farmers were not safe. When the king's eyes fell upon the wife of a poor man named Chike, the man pleaded, "Great king, she is all I have." But Oba Udozie pushed him aside, taking the woman into his palace, while Chike collapsed in the dust. The king's cruelty extended even further. He seized the only son of a widow, forcing the boy to work in the palace fields. The widow wept day and night, but her cries were ignored. To fuel his endless greed, Oba Udozie demanded heavy taxes. Each family had to bring baskets of yams, goats, and palm oil. Those who could not pay were beaten by his soldiers. Mothers clutched their children while soldiers snatched their meager offerings. Even the elders were not spared. One brave elder stood before the king, warning him to fear God. But Oba Udozie's anger rose like a wildfire. He ordered the elder whipped before the people, silencing voices of truth and spreading fear among the villagers. One season, after the king had taken yet another wife from poor Chike, the skies grew stubborn. The clouds gathered but refused to pour their rain. The sun scorched the land. The yam barns stood empty. Children sat on the dusty ground with swollen bellies, crying from hunger. Mothers pressed their breasts, but no milk flowed. Hunger spread across Umuaka like fire through dry grass. Desperate, the villagers went to the palace. They fell on their knees before the king. "Great king," they cried, "our children are starving. Our fields are dry. Our bellies ache. Please do something to save your people." But Oba Udozie only laughed. His cruel laughter echoed in the palace. He feasted on roasted meat and drank from a calabash of palm wine. Around him, the wives he had stolen sat in silks and beads, smiling bitterly but powerless to escape. His palace overflowed with food, while his people wasted away outside his gates. Then one night, as Oba Udozie lay asleep on his bed of leopard skins, he dreamed. In the dream, a mighty figure clothed in light appeared before him. The figure's face was stern, and his voice shook the earth. "Oba Udozie," the figure thundered, You have stolen what is not yours. You have caused tears to flow in the land. You have broken the hearts of men and trampled on the covenant of marriage. Because of your wickedness, judgment has come upon you. Unless you repent and return the wives you have taken, your throne shall fall, and your name shall be forgotten." The king awoke trembling. Sweat ran down his face. His heart beat like the drum of war. For a moment he feared. For a moment, he thought of confessing to the elders and returning the women he had taken. But his pride rose like a mountain within him. He clenched his jaw and said, "I am Oba Udozie, the great king of Umuaka. No spirit, no man, no god can take away my throne." And so he hardened his heart. He told no one of the dream and continued in his wicked ways. The judgment spoken of in the dream was not far away. One morning, a strange sickness spread through the palace. One wife collapsed, then another, then another. The warriors who guarded his gates fell to the ground with fever. The palace, once filled with music and feasting, became filled with the cries of the sick. Oba Udozie himself grew weak. His body trembled, his eyes dimmed, and his voice became faint. He tried to call his people for help, but they refused. The villagers, tired of his wickedness, said, "Let him suffer. We will not give him food or medicine. Let him taste the pain he has given us." At last, the king lay alone in his great palace. No wife sat beside him. No servant brought him water. No friend came to comfort him. His crown slipped from his head and rolled across the floor. The very thing he loved most, stealing women, had brought about his downfall. When the king finally died, the villagers gathered and said, "Truly, no man who fights against the law of God prospers. Marriage is sacred, and whoever mocks it brings curses upon his own head." From that day on, the people of Umuaka remembered the story of Oba Udozie. Fathers told it to their sons. Mothers told it to their daughters. They taught their children, "Power without righteousness leads only to destruction." The Holy Bible says, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." Galatians 6 verse 7. And so, the story ends, but its lesson remains forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more African folktales and inspiring stories.